Thank you, everyone. Can we please settle down? Also, please feel free to share event feeds on social media using hashtag IvyCap 2022. Well, a successful strategy can reap some incredible rewards. While product-led approach is idealistic in the process of growing tech companies, is having a great product always enough for a company to grow? If you wonder which strategy keeps the magic on in a tech company, the next session is just for you. We will commence with the second panel discussion on scaling globally in tech, product-led or GTM-led. The panel will be moderated by Ashish again. Ashish, request you to please come on stage. And let's welcome our panelists with a big round of applause. Mr. Swetabh Pathak, founder of Elucidata, Mr. Venkat Nott, founder of Vinculum, Ms. Tamanna Dhamija, founder of Convosight, Mr. Jatin Solanki, founder of Expertrons, and Mr. Abhay Gupta, founder of Bidgely, who will be joining us virtually from US. Ashish, I'll let you take over.
In the meantime, audiences, there is one black laptop bag, which I think is with the security. If anybody has lost their laptop bag, you can check with the security. It's a black colored laptop bag. Thank you so much.
So welcome. So welcome everyone. Abhay, welcome. Can you hear us well?
Yes.
Great. Excellent. So,
Giant face of my background.
okay, great. So here we have our SaaS companies, B2B companies, and these guys are really part of this whole, sort of wave of Indian companies creating products in India and dominating the world. Who would have thought? But here we are. So let's hear from each one of them. First of all, just introduce your companies and yourself and what you do. Maybe take 60 seconds each, and so that the audience knows, gets the context of what you're talking about. So obviously, Tamanna, you have the privilege to go first.
Hi everyone, I'm Tamanna, founder of Convosight. Convosight is a community advocacy platform. We help brands tap into consumers in existing communities on social channels where peer-to-peer conversations are happening. So think Facebook groups, WhatsApp, Telegram, Reddit. All these channels were previously untapped. So we are creating this new category of community-led advocacy in the world.
Venkat?
Hi everyone, good morning. This is Venkat Nott, founder CEO of Vinculum. We are an omni-channel SaaS platform. Think of us like the Make My Trip or the Trivago of e-commerce. We aggregate all orders, inventory, shipping labels across online, offline, and social channels for brands. So we enable both traditional brands to digitally transform themselves, aggregate all the orders and be present on channels where people shop and fulfill from the nearest location. This could be your own warehouse, it could be any retail store that you have or a franchisee store or inventory lying in a distributor or a marketplace. We've basically built, we have all the plumbing towards every part of the logistics and supply chain ecosystem, and we are making it extremely easy for brands to list and sell in the best possible way. So that's basically what we do.
Abhay, would you like to go next?
Absolutely. So Bidgely is an energy intelligence platform, and as the world is transforming into consumer-driven consumers and solar and electric vehicles, we take the energy data from various sources, including smart meters and grid, and we help utilities of the world manage a very resilient grid in presence of large loads like electric vehicles and solar, and we help consumers manage their energy consumption, which is going to become more and more complex with various trade plans and different types of distributed energy resources.
So you can save the world from the consumer from the energy inflation we are seeing, right?
That's the goal.
Okay, great. Jatin?
Yeah, hi, this is Jatin. I'm the founder of Expertrons. I think the only B2C company in the panel, but yeah. And yeah, so we are the largest library of career experiences. We are essentially Netflix for careers. On our platform, we have more than 7,500 experts sharing their experience from Google, Facebook, Microsoft, or BCG, McKinsey, Harvard Business School in the form of video bots. So it's a skill tech platform to help the global billion professionals in their career changes. So yeah.
Swetabh?
Hi, I'm Swetabh. I'm one of the co-founders of Elucidata, and we are a tech bio startup based out of the US and India, and our primary target market is US and North America and Europe. What we sell is we sell a piece of software that helps you work more efficiently with your biomedical data, especially for R&D purposes. So we work with some of the biggest biopharma companies in the world, as well as early stage biotech companies. Our key differentiator is our technology, which helps annotate biomedical data to a very high extent, as well as use it for AI-based workflows, where a lot of the biopharma community is waking up to using AI, but the data is just not clean enough for them to be able to do that. So we help enable make that happen.
So, wide range of industries, very clearly. Different types of customers. Venkat, I believe you serve the entire range from large brands to small e-commerce brands, distributors. Like Tamanna, you have two sets of customers, right? Brands as well as the group admins, right? Abhay, mostly utilities, large utilities, globally? That's right. So, and Swetabh, again, a range of small, big, medium size pharma and biotech companies, right? And of course, you're a consumer. Now, look, if I look at these platforms, and yours is a platform, the rest are sort of SaaS products, I think the gross margins are a given. Unlike the D2C side, where everyone challenges whether margins are enough and you're just subsidizing the consumer. That's not the case in your businesses. So let's get that out of the way, right? So if you were to think about really growth and scale and cost of acquisition, these are the sort of things that drive value in your respective businesses, right? Now, my first question is, now, obviously you all did some experiments, created a product, it got some traction. At what point did you get the conviction that you are now ready to scale disproportionately and, grow disproportionately and also scale, how do you think of scale at different points in your journey? Tamanna, we'll start with you.
Sure. So I'll go through the, Ashish, like you said, we have a supply side and a demand side. And supply side is community creators who are the custodians of all the distribution. Again, like I said, it's a previously untapped market, so no other platform globally today has access to any closed group communities. So for us, it was very essential to build that first. The demand side is large enterprise customers who we work with, and we knew that, that sort of going to market selling will be hard because it is a new category and it has to be education-led. But first things first, will we be able to get to the supply? So we focused on that in the first few months, which is trying to aggregate communities across platforms. And we started with Facebook groups. And now we have Reddit, Telegram, Discord. The toughest thing to crack was getting the trust of admins. So we took a very different approach. We didn't do any paid marketing. We built a community of community creators. And most of the growth that we've seen in the last 2 years has come through referrals and inbound through our community. We today have 100,000 communities with 700 million members across all of these.
Can you just repeat that? 700 million, you said?
Yes, yeah. So for us, we had said, so Ashish, and you know that, in first year, if we are not able to hit 100 million members, then this is just not viable. Like we'll never be able to scale this. So that was sort of a flag in the sand. We said we have to get there, and we had to figure out a way to earn trust, which cannot be through paid marketing, which cannot be through paying an admin, which is why we built a community. So it's all been community-led growth for us in terms of acquiring that supply. And we continue to do so. When we started, it was all in India. Today, about 25% of communities are from US and Europe. Now, shifting gears to the demand side, this was really hard because when we launched, it was bang when the pandemic started. We got our first institutional funding when we launched in Jan 2020. We didn't know how we're going to do it because all of the things that work for traditional SaaS does not really work for us because we're a category creator. And selling to enterprises, it's a very sales-led motion. How do you do it just on Zoom? But I think we did, our product sort of sold for itself after the first few successful case studies. Just in terms of scale, in the last 2 years, we today work with 160 brands across 60 very large enterprise customers. So all the way from a Nestle, a Marico, to an Amazon, a Johnson's. What's good and we feel proud about when we look back is 50% of this growth came from referrals in enterprises. So that's kind of unheard of. And we want to grow that. Now we're going after channel partnerships. Also, we've really pivoted from an all-out sales-led motion to a heavily product-enabled, sales motion, which I can get into later. So,
great, and I'm looking at you, Jatin, because you also have this community angle and so on. So, can you elaborate as to what you are trying to do and what your journey has been to create that initial scale and sort of conviction to grow?
So in our case, of course, I mean, it was a platform with a lot of experts coming and sharing their experience of how they reached a top B school or a top company or sharing their job internship experience on our platform. Of course, the first 100 experts were the most difficult to get. We had to push like people from our alumni from IIT Bombay to kind of come on the platform. The first 100 experts were the most difficult to get. We had to get our batchmates, seniors, on the platform, but the remaining kind of came in more easily, and there was a lot of product involved in it, and like we had to make sure that the platform is built well enough so that anyone across the globe can have a simple experience of downloading our app and can record their career experience right from the comfort of their homes. So someone sitting in a Stanford library today can download our app, can start recording their career experience of how they reached Stanford for that matter. So, and when they download the app, they can actually, like the technology will tell them to be in the center of the camera, or there's a background noise, or so on and so forth. So we also had to maintain the quality of the content on the platform to be like that. So, and that's how our journey kind of started from just being like, from getting these 100 experts by push, by recording their videos and everything, to actually a product-led strategy and experts referring experts, and now to 7,500 experts on the platform.
Sure, we'll come back to the product-led. I want to hear from Abhay. Abhay, when did you start, how did you navigate the first stage, and when did you start getting conviction that your business was scalable? We can't hear you, Abhay. Are you on mute?
Sorry about that. Is it fine now? Yes. Yeah. So I would say, I would admit that we made some initial mistakes in the first launch, and as an entrepreneur who is in the rush to launch the product and start getting some revenue and stuff, I think we learned the hard way that you have to take time to make your product well-proven KPIs before you start putting money into the sales and marketing. And the analogy that I use is 2 units of product management, 8 units of product development, and 90 units of sales and marketing is what it takes to get large success. So before you start spending that money in the sales and marketing, what we do now is patiently develop the product. We want to launch it in a few customers. We want to make sure that the product development fine KPIs are met. The ROI in an enterprise selling is very important, because enterprise buyer eventually wants to look at the ROI. Having all those things in place, that's when you start promoting heavily. And so that's the general recipe that we've learned to follow quickly.
Swetabh, Elucidata's journey has been somewhat different from community-led and product-led. How did you go about doing it, and to build that initial scale and conviction?
Yeah, so I think, for better or worse, we have a bigger ticket size maybe than most small ticket size SaaS companies. So there is definitely a reliance on, in the initial stages, there was a lot of reliance on the founders to sell. I mean, there wasn't so much even Salesforce, we could not afford it. But since the rounds of funding have come in and we have scaled up, then we have been able to do more sales-led motion, which at our ticket size, which is in 6 figures or more, seems to work better. Of course, marketing has a huge role to play there as well, because you can't have a sales force but not have enough leads for the sales team to work with. Of course, they're supposed to generate their own leads. So in that sense, our GTM has been more conventional. A lot of, I think Tamanna made the point about referrals. That has been very significant for us as well. And biopharma is again, I mean, one of the things that we did, I think initially, at least as an industry, and this might be similar to other companies as well, we focused on a couple of markets, and even within sort of the whole big market of biopharma, we had a huge focus on one particular region, which is New England, Boston and New York and that sort of area, Cambridge primarily, because that's the center of biopharma. And one of the things that we realized was that there were a lot of organic effects of selling within one particular geography. So as global as the world is, people still want to live in one city, unless they are more adventurous. So you have a lot of good effects from people traveling within these companies, and your product or whatever you do travels with it. So that has worked out well for us. I think we are now at the stage where we're trying product-led growth as well for more sort of lead generation purposes, rather than even complete the end-to-end journey by just using the product, which again, for our ticket size, we believe will work better.
So first it was founder-led, and then you transitioned.
Yeah.
You make a great point, which is quite counterintuitive. Typically, you see that for D2C companies, they say work in a smaller geography cluster.
Yeah.
In your case, it was a big biotech hub.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then scale out
Yeah,
globally
yeah.
from that. So
Yeah. Even now, I mean, we have kept our focus very much on the US Northeast, which is New England and the Bay Area, because that's still a big enough market for us to expand into.
got it. Venkat, how has your journey been in terms of getting that conviction and scale?
So I think there are three phases really, Ashish, as you know. Phase one was we had to do many pivots to get to the right product market fit. So I think that's the most critical piece anyway in terms of the journey of we are a B2B software company. So the product market fit is the first step. I would say the second phase is really, we are one of the companies who are helped by COVID. So because everyone is digitally transforming themselves. So I would say that TAM has significantly increased post-COVID. And also we've been nimble enough to evolve with the changes in the market. So for example, we extended the product to enable quick commerce. So every player in quick commerce, whether it's Instamart, Swiggy, Dunzo, or Zepto, all of them pan-India work with us in terms of the dark stores and the regional hubs. But besides that, as a product company, you got to keep innovating, keep enhancing, and finding micro verticals to scale. And that has been a critical part of growing the company. But if I look at it today, where any traditional brand, anybody in the malls, or any internet-first brand is a target for us. And every new evolving business model is an opportunity for us. Means we are doing 70% of our revenues in India, but technically, this is still 3% of the global market. So when I look at the opportunity for us, we can just replicate whatever we are doing here in any part of the world. So, but of course, there are a few pointers here. I don't know whether it's the right answer for this question, but I do think some of the things which are critical, of course, is funding at the right time. So to be able to capture that opportunity. Second, having the A team to be able to actually replicate, to be able to actually hire and replicate the opportunity which you have. And yeah, I mean, those are some of the thoughts. And of course, if for B2B software company, some of the key parameters you look for is growth, net revenue retention from existing customers, and LTV by CAC. So those would be your three key parameters. So you got to make sure that your existing customers are scaling. So customer success becomes extremely critical in terms of being process-driven and creating the right culture in terms of people who can help scale the company. So I think that's a common thing you will hear from me in terms of people and culture, which is critical to scale.
Yeah, let's come back to that. I think in one of the subsequent questions, I want to go back to this product-led growth idea that Tamanna and Jatin introduced. What is product-led growth?
So again, we've done it a little differently. For us, we had to build product for both sides. We first went after building the product for community creators, and that was the toughest thing to crack. Because how to build a product that gets integrated into various communities to get access, and then provide them tools to manage and monetize their communities. So we focused on that first. Again, building tools for community creators so that they can manage communities better and monetize through brand partnerships. It's been a journey. Today we are at a place that for community creators, we even have community profiles. Like imagine if today any one of you hears from a brand, or like even here, right, Elucidata, let's say if you want to go and look for communities of pharma, whatever, marketing professionals, like there's really no discovery platforms in the world. You cannot go, there is no Google, there is no platform where you can go and search for communities. You don't, even if you know they exist on, let's say, a Slack or a Facebook. So today we are at a place where we've created that discovery platform. It's a first. where there's profiles of communities, community creators, and there's this concept of growth loops, which we read about. We've never seen it play in action, but which we're seeing work out now, that community creators share their profiles with relevant brands or within their communities, and every share gets us X amount of leads. So that's starting to play out. And we believe that will be huge for us, because at the scale of community creators, each admin can get us X amount of leads. We have about 2,000 leads right now from small brands who we cannot service because we don't have a self-serve platform. On the brand side, Ashish, it's been very interesting. Initially, it was all founder sales led. So we tried to figure out what will really work, what are we selling in a PowerPoint, and then how to productize that. So again, today we are at a place where our lead gen is pretty much productized. Like, we're able to send out customized landing pages to each brand, which help them see what are the conversations that are happening about my category or brand. So if I'm a parachute oil, I'll just take an example. What are people talking about in communities about oil? And are they shifting away from coconut to an onion oil? Like, if I have a landing page like that, it's like straight, I'll press a button, tell me more. And that's when the sales team would start talking. So it's been a journey, first from PowerPoint to a product-led sort of on the brand side as well.
Good, but I couldn't help notice you're such a natural salesman. You just sold your product to Swetabh, so well done. Jatin, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think more like Tamanna, how she has two stakeholders on her platform, like the community guys on one side and of course the brands on the other side. We, like, even for our platform, we have the professionals on one side who are seeking for growth, and on the other side there are these experts who have been there, done that themselves. So we also had to kind of build this marketplace. We had to build this place which would make sense for both of these kind of stakeholders for us. So for the professionals who were coming, it was more like a Netflix, where how Netflix recommends you what movies you should be watching. We'll recommend you the experts who are the most suited for you based on your background. So say Jatin comes from a tier 2 city in Rajasthan, has done his engineering from a tier 1 college, wants to go to, say, technology companies. So I'll be recommended experts who are the most suited for me, who are more apt for me, because these professionals on one side, they are or the career seekers on one side are actually looking for these things on the internet, and then they kind of land on our platform. So that's the one side. And on the other side, of course, the professionals, they have different of them will want to actually book a one-on-one call with me. So that's how kind of this productification of experts and professional kind of came into picture for Expertrons.
Got it. So let's move to marketing and the role of marketing in SaaS companies, right? Abhay, sorry, before we go there, do you want to elaborate on your GTM and what has worked for you, Abhay?
So we
Okay, role of marketing, Venkat. How is marketing, how have you leveraged marketing to drive growth for Vinculum?
So again, from for a B2B software company, if we look at the role of marketing, cuts across many aspects. One is brand building. So which means right from creating campaigns, creating content for across running events, for example, customer events, making sure that there are campaigns for customer acquisition, then brand building across every aspect, creating case studies, working closely with strategic partners, working with customers, creating advisory members for each city, geography. So there's a whole lot of activities with respect to brand building and customer acquisition. A lot of our business today, there is an inbound interest in terms of, and most of our client acquisition comes from either alliances or marketing. So direct sales contributes, I would say, 20%. Marketing contributes 40+%, and alliances contribute 40%. So that's possibly the mix today. So when we started, that was possibly less of alliances, more of direct sales and marketing. So that percentage has definitely shifted big time. I would say at a stage where we are, where the product market fit is completely established and we are at a proper growth stage, the alliances will keep increasing in terms of the percentage. If I look at Salesforce, which is possibly the company to compare from an industry leader perspective globally, they are at a 60% revenue from alliances. So that's where we are headed as well. So marketing essentially controls 40+40 directly and indirectly, 80% of the business for us.
And Swetabh, your Elucidata is a little bit earlier in the journey in marketing. What have your experiences, what has been working? How have you been using marketing to drive your sales?
I think one of the big mistakes that I think we made was to not start doing it as early as Venkat's company did, and I see Abhay nodding, so maybe them too. We just did not start soon enough, and I think it's in hindsight that you can see that, and we have been trying to fix it for the last year and a half or so, and I think we have made a lot of progress. In that sense, I have seen, since we have invested more in marketing and taking it up, and again, I think that's one of the things that maybe we didn't, because me and my co-founder are both very technical co-founders, and just this classic stereotype of marketing, right? Like, you think it's fluff until it isn't. So, it was not fluffed, and we realized that we needed to start, and we have made a lot of progress, and I think it has helped in a lot of things. As Venkat said, brand, I think, has been a big thing for us. We are a category-defining company as well. We are not quite an equivalent to another product that you would buy. So we need to make the case that you need to invest in this new piece of technology that did not exist before. And I think that case is very hard to make with just a sales-led motion or with just a founder-led motion. That voice has to come from somewhere else to the customer as well. And as marketing folks tell you, they need to hear something 7 times before they buy into it or whatever. And that I think we are doing now, and that has been very important for us. In some ways, alliances did not work very well for us in our early days as well. Again, as Abhay was referring, we did a bunch of co-marketing relationships, but you realize at the end of the day that other companies have their own incentives, and it's hard for you to break into that. And I think the other place where, of course, now that we have a reasonably sizable sales team, marketing where it is helping is setting up meetings, and again, very classic enterprise sales. Don't make it flashy. Just do the regular stuff. It's already been figured out. No need to reinvent it. Just do it well.
Great. We're running out of time, but I have 2 more questions left. Very quickly, what are the 2 important lessons or advice that you have for people going overseas, Abhay, or targeting global markets?
I use that my experience in the US market because we are actually on the reverse side, just getting the Indian market and
Yes.
how hard it is to sell in India. came from a later stage, we realized how big a difference it makes. It completely transformed the company. So I would say, don't binge on when you are ready. When you're ready, don't binge on spending money on marketing, but with the right person and the right resource. Other than that, I mean, we have one of our old the chief operating officer, Varun, is sitting in the audience right there. He's now a dean at MBA school in Mumbai. So Varun, if you want to raise your hand, rest of the people. You know, since I'm not there in person, you can go talk to Varun after this. Anytime you can there, he can tell you everything about Bidgely and even the market in US. So let me leave it there.
Got it. Venkat, you've gone to several markets, Southeast Asia, Middle East, US. Top two lessons for people going to overseas market.
See, I think critical aspects is one is, if I look at it from our perspective, keeping it simple and replicating what you have learned. That's one simple message there. The second, of course, is you got to go and build partnerships and relationships in the market. So every part of the ecosystem, from a B2B perspective, you got to build equation with the marketplaces, logistics companies, and you got to work with the trade bodies. So there is no escape to building those equations. Of course, marketing and campaign-driven lead gen can happen remote, but you got to build those equations there. So once you form that and replicate it, be patient, and don't go into a market unless it is sizable enough. Don't go into every market. So pick your battles and you can definitely win them. For example, Thailand is a very tough market in Southeast Asia because they pay less and the competition is too intense. I would rather pick Indonesia as a market which is sizable for me. And that's easier for you to conquer.
Okay, great. So I think we are almost run out of time. But just one quick word on, one sentence on what's your ambition for Elucidata. Can you just sort of go around the table just with one sentence? What do you want to be?
To provide clean data to all of R&D research in the world.
Jatin?
Yeah. So we are already the largest library of career experiences, and we want to.
What do you want to be?
Yeah. We want to remain this. We want to be the largest library of career experience to help over a billion professionals. Yeah.
We want to be managing millions of electric vehicles with the grid so consumers can charge their car cheapest and cleanest energy.
Tamanna?
We want to create an ecosystem where brands and communities coexist, and the only thing that exists there is trust.
Venkat?
Any brand growing globally should look at us. Anyone in any part of the world.
Great. That's a pretty sizable set of ambitions. And congratulations once again. And all the best. I have no doubt that you guys are making a huge difference in the respective sectors that you are working on. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, everyone. What an amazing summary in less than a minute from everyone. Can we please have a group photograph? Can we also have Abhay on the screen for the group photograph, please? He's